Okay, so we'll move on to the second presentation. Our second presenter is Mr. Sven BLANCK, who has two titles. He is the managing director of MyCarbon, and he is also the head of finance of Composites United EV. He's been with MyCarbon since 2012, where he was a contributing member of building this cluster. And he has contributed to, or in the areas of finance, controlling, and monitoring. And today he'll present the developments in the area of fiber composites in the automotive and aviation industries, a cluster approach. So please join me in welcoming Mr. BLANCK.
Yes, I hope you can see my screen. And welcome from Germany, and welcome all of you in Korea. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present MyCarbon. And we decided to divide my presentation in a theoretical part from my side, and then you get some insights from special projects from my colleague Felix Bendel. He works for the Fraunhofer Institute, so that at first you receive some information about MyCarbon. MyCarbon belongs to a bigger network in Germany, an association called Composites United. You see, in the German-speaking area, we have lots of departments and around about 380 partners, from SMEs to big companies to research and development institutes. And there are two special departments, the ceramic composites department and the carbon concrete department. The main topics of the CU are the aviation and aerospace sector, the automotive and construction sector, and the engineering sector. Most of the suppliers and SMEs come from fiber technologies, from semi-finished products, and from tooling machines, for example. And most of the partners are linked to the whole value chain, from the carbon fiber production to recycling opportunities. Now I would like to introduce MyCarbon. MyCarbon, you see on the right side, is the Bavarian department. Bavaria is in southern part of Germany, and we have 116 members.
Mr. BLANCK, sorry for the interruption. We cannot see the slides, so maybe you haven't shared your screen. I thought you were going to start with just the conversation first.
Okay, sorry. And now, can you see now the slides?
Because now we can, yeah. Can you
okay.
switch the slideshow mode?
Yeah, I start again. Sorry about that. I introduced the Composites United. The Composites United is an association in Germany with several departments, mostly in the German-speaking area. You see on the map, with nearly 380 partners. There are two special departments, the CU concrete, carbon concrete, and the ceramic composites. The CU members belong mostly to the aerospace and aviation sector, to the automotive and construction sector, and to engineering and plant constructions. The suppliers and SMEs belong mostly to fibers, to tooling machines, making components, and all the partners match to the whole value chain from the carbon fiber production to recycling opportunities and concepts. Now I would like to introduce MyCarbon. MyCarbon is the Bavarian department of the CU. You see on the right side, and we have around about 116 members, and most of you know the BMW, for instance, or Audi or Airbus, which are big companies working with us together in the cluster. The MyCarbon services, for instance, in the international context, our aim is to build bridges, to build transnational bridges between German partners and Korean partners. And we defined four special topics: innovation, education, cooperation, and communication. And some ideas from this. First of all, we would like to connect partners to innovate, to bring carbon composites a step further. And this we reached very good with two projects: My eSpan and My Scrap Zero. The My Scrap Zero project you will hear tomorrow or the day after from my colleague Jakob Oelling. Then in the education sector, we have a special education program because there is an increasing composite market, and our aim is that we need experts for working with this material, so that we defined a special program from the early childhood education to master and bachelor thesis. Of course, clusters are the main topic, or the center of clusters is bringing people together. And this is a transnational approach we follow, so that we have special delegation trips. We organized here some road shows. We had, I think, around about 20 Korean delegations in Augsburg and in the Bavarian region to meet some partners, to make business, or to meet universities and in the research area. And then, of course, the communication, the business, we have a special competence at this for making German partners more visible in worldwide. Then the R&D. We had a special leading edge program in 2012 to 2017. After that, the Carpus Carbon 4.0, a new program funded by the Free State of Bavaria, with around about 21 billion euros to digitalize and bringing partners together in this year of pre-production, using artificial intelligence. And you see four core regions. The green one is production systems. The yellow ones are projects related to efficiency and sustainability. The red ones are linked to design and engineering. All these projects are linked together, or there is a special opportunity to network, so that we have a special event format called Project Forum, where those partners come together and the results of these projects were presented. Then one interesting aim and approach was the skeleton structure. You see on this slide, we had several projects in this context: Skelet, multi-skelet, and rapid skelet. In the BMW was in the leading position in this concept, and you see lots of big results were achieved. A highly amount of recycling material was used, and in the new iX of BMW, the windshield cowl and the frame of the back window is made fully in skeleton structure with carbon composites. Then I would like to introduce some interesting facts about our communication. We have a new MyCarbon brochure. You see on the left side the MyBaum, which should describe the timeline from 2012 to 2017 to 2020. And in this brochure, you find all the projects we had with the results and the project aim and the members in this project. Yes, as I mentioned before, one of our big tasks is to internationalize, and bring German partners together with Korean partners in the fields of innovation, science, business, and communication. And last year, because of the pandemic, we initiated a new format called International Business and Innovation Series with 2 countries, China and Australia. And hopefully we could initiate such a format next year with Korean companies and our Korean contact K Carbon, where German and Korean companies could pitch to a special topic. And this opportunity we should use, I think. Then a little bit an outlook prospect on 2020. Next year we have a birthday of 10 years MyCarbon. Our aim is to foster international cross-border cooperations and hopefully with delegation visits physically here in Augsburg and fairs and events in a normal way. This was a short overview about MyCarbon, and now I would like to hand over to my colleague Felix Bendel, and I hope he can share his screen. Thank you very much for your attention, and Felix, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Sven. So I'm glad to give a brief summary of 2 projects that ran the last 4 years. Do you see my screen now? Does it work?
Not yet.
No.
Yes, we can. Now we can you see your screen?
Yes. And it's first one is MyCarbon Hybrid, it's called, and it was together with 4 partners, all members in MyCarbon, and yeah, it started 2017, 4 years ago, and ended this year in March, and was volume about 2.1 million euros, and yeah, the partners were SGL Carbon, so one of the world's biggest manufacturers for carbon products. I think you know them, and the University of Augsburg with the Materials Research Management Institute, and Automation V+R in Munich. They do quality insurance services by inline process controls, and associated were Prim Aerotech and the Fraunhofer IGCV is our institute in Augsburg, and we do casting, process technology, and yeah, of course, carbon fiber technologies. So, what was the goal of the MyCarbon Hybrid project? As the name is telling, it's about a hybrid laminate. So, you all know the Claire, maybe. It's a hybrid out of glass fiber, reinforced dual plastic, and yes, and it's like a pretty tough process to build up a clear component. And so we decided to generate a process that uses the thermoplastic matrix system. And so that's the first step. And we try to do this in a cost-efficient production and processing technology. And yeah, the networking idea was also a topic. And of course, we also try to raise the recycling potential by using a thermoplastic matrix. So if you can see here, in Claire, we always have to do a manual draping of each layer. There are a lot of time-consuming steps necessary to build up a clear component. Maybe it's pretty dangerous because the substances are hazardous, and yeah, the curing in autoclave is maybe really time-consuming and cost-consuming. So we try to build up a new process. So there's a semi-finished laminate sheet that we can build with the double belt press, for example, really cheap. And we can simple storage this sheet and transport it. And afterwards, we try to use the thermoplastic resin to go in a pressing. And now we try to shape some geometries by pressing. So that's the idea in my carbon hybrid. Let's see what we did and what was the result. So as you can see here, and on the first slide, we did some prototypes. So the first step was to identify the suitable material combination. A lot of metals we screened, and a lot of thermoplastic matrix systems and different fibers. After all, we decided to use aluminium and carbon fiber reinforced plastic with PA6. And therefore, we did a lot of mechanical characterization and identified also a proper integration method. And with regard to formability, we did a lot of research together with the University of Augsburg. And to build up the pressing process, we also looked at the numerical approach and did a model and a simulation of this forming process. And all in all, we just generated a deep understanding in this subject. And now we know what we have to do to produce such a sheet laminate, and how to form it, and how to manufacture a component. Yeah, that's like a short summary of my carbon hybrid. And the second project is my carbon hypercar. It's also a hybrid approach, but this time it's more or less with a demonstrator, and it's driven by JEC Automation Group. So it's in the automotive sector. The full title is Technologies for the Efficient Production of Hybrid CFRP Metal Structural Components in the Automotive Sector. And it was about 2.7 million euros project volume, and the runtime was same like my carbon hybrid. Partners were nearly the same, except that Premium Aerotech is not in, and therefore JEC Group So on my hype car, the goals were to generate a resource-efficient, lightweight construction method for the automotive sectors by the use of metallic substrate, where we put a low path compatible carbon fibers by a AFP layup. And also we followed the Industry 4.0 idea. So we had to do a proceeding for every prototype by a digital product development. So, and what we reached in this project is pretty good, I think. We had this demonstrator here. It's a floor structure for a electric vehicle, and we can see here that's the reference floor structure. It's only out of steel and it's pretty high and pretty heavy. So we try to replace this one by a steel structure where we put carbon fibers on. And yeah, we reduced due to the steel thickness from 2.5 millimeters to 0.7 millimeters, and the height in 18 millimeters. So all in all, there was a reduction by 10 kilos, minus 40%. So that's quite good. And all in all, we can now generate more comfort and a bigger interior size in this vehicle, which is gained heat, or we can improve the aerodynamics, which will lead to reduced fuel consumption. And last point, also interesting, is the recycling potential of this thermoplastic CFRP tapes. So that was a short summary what we can achieve in this cluster, my carbon cluster in Bavaria. So thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Blanc and Dr. Bendel. It was very good, comprehensive introduction of my carbon, as well as very specific case studies on your technologies. Are there any questions from the audience? We have perhaps time for one question. 우리말로도 괜찮습니다.
Korean is also fine.
Perhaps I have one question for Mr. Blanc. You gave a very good introduction on my carbon cluster and your vision and plan. What plans do you have to relate your areas to carbon neutrality besides lightweighting? Because I think from the manufacturing standpoint, carbon neutrality can also be achieved. So do you have any plans or thoughts on that?
Yes, in Germany we have lots of plans for development of CFRP and the lightweighting constructions. You see in what you saw in the both projects of Felix, that hybrid structures are one of the big tasks we follow. It's not only composites or carbon. It will be the combination of lots of materials, and this is one of our aims we follow at the Composites United and My Carbon, bringing new materials together, so that especially in the carbon concrete sector, for instance, there's a high potential using CFRP, but in other sectors there will be a big usage of other materials in combination, so that We, as an association and as a cluster, our task in the future is bringing partners together from other sectors, branches, and mostly interdisciplinary. So that I think we are looking forward to the future, especially in the context and with working together with South Korea. We did it since the last years.
Okay, thank you very much. We look forward to future collaborations between the two countries too. Thank you. Okay, so let's thank our speakers for wonderful presentations. Thank you very much.